For years on the run with a child, and my ex is relentlessly pursuing me. After receiving a 6 million breakup fee from Mrs. Liu, I decisively dumped my ex-boyfriend, Liu Zai. Who knew? I was already pregnant. Even worse, after 4 years on the run with a child, Liu Zai actually became my blind date. Miss Shin, you have a daughter, right? May I ask, is the child your ex-boyfriend's? The moment I saw Liu Zai walk into the cafe, my pupils dilated, and I instinctively grabbed my bag to cover my face and run. He quickly grabbed my wrist, enunciating clearly, Miss Shin, hello, I am your blind date, Liu Zai. My breath hitched, and I pressed the bag against my face, making a final struggle. Sorry, you've mistaken me for someone else. Liu Zai tightened his grip, pinching my wrist painfully, and said firmly, I haven't mistaken you, you're the one I'm looking for. Shin Tingyao, 28 years old, with a 4-year-old daughter. I am your 29th blind date this week. The people around us, upon hearing about the 29th blind date, all cast surprised glances. Seeing this scene, I knew I couldn't escape. Discretion is the better part of valor. Rather than standing there awkwardly, I might as well sit down obediently before Liu Zai loses his temper. Even after 4 years, I still remember that he wasn't an easy person to deal with. Gentle in appearance, ruthless in methods. Everyone who had offended Liu Zai had been tormented by him with various means, without exception. I was forced to sit properly, and I lowered my head with a guilty conscience, not daring to look at him. Afraid that he would question me in the next second about the fact that I took the money and dumped him back then. Not only that, but I also used his seed to have a daughter. However, the expected questions never came. After ordering a latte, Liu Zai politely asked me, Miss Shin, what would you like to drink? Just plain water is fine. Okay. He behaved very gentlemanly, as if he really came to see me on a blind date. So tolerant? Could it be that he practiced ninja skills in the past 4 years? Immediately, Liu Zai personally dispelled my perception of him. He asked me with a smile that was not a smile, the information shows that Miss Shin has never been married before, right? I nodded subconsciously. Back then, I had the idea of having a child without getting married, so I gave birth to Tian Tian. If it weren't for discovering that Tian Tian was growing up and needed a father figure in her life, needed a complete childhood, I would never waste money hiring a husband for a marriage of convenience. Liu Zai's eyes dimmed, and he continued to ask as if nothing had happened. The information also shows that Miss Shin has a daughter who is 4 years old this year, right? May I ask, is this child your ex-boyfriend's? The truth is, he was never a good guy. He just learned to put away the bright knives and evolved into a smiling tiger with needles hidden in cotton. A trace of panic flashed in my eyes, afraid that he would fight me for Tian Tian. Tian Tian is my only family member, and I can't possibly give him custody of the child. In my silent silence, the atmosphere was about to drop to freezing point. Liu Zai tapped the table with his fingertips irregularly, and took the initiative to give me a way out. It doesn't matter if you don't want to say it, I'm just a little curious. The waiter brought coffee and plain water. I took a sip of water and mustered up the courage to refuse him. I'm sorry, it's not very convenient for me to answer. The arc of Liu Zai's mouth straightened, he pursed his lips, and didn't embarrass me. Okay, next question. I breathed a sigh of relief and felt a little uneasy at the same time. My 10 fingers were tightly intertwined. Ask away. Liu Zai remained silent, like a psychological game before interrogating a prisoner. My heart was hanging in the air, unable to figure out what he was thinking. Gradually, I began to feel that Liu Zai's smile was a little creepy. After a long time, Liu Zai slowly opened his mouth and said, the matchmaker said that Miss Shin is willing to spend money to buy a husband for 2 years. I wonder what Miss Shin thinks of me. I didn't dare to look at him at all. When I ran away while pregnant, I couldn't wait to never see Liu Zai, this plague god, in my life. I tactically drank water and answered him with a straight face. I think people as outstanding and talented as Mr. Liu, I can't afford. The coffee cup in Liu Zai's hand lightly fell on the table, making a crisp sound. The volume wasn't loud, but it scared me to death. The atmosphere began to cool down again. Afraid that Lu Zai would retaliate against me, I stuttered and begged him to show mercy. I can't even afford to rent you by the day. You're too expensive. The matchmaker should have told you, my budget is only 80,000. I was telling the truth, I really couldn't afford it. The Lu family is one of the top families in Jing City. It's a height that I can't reach even if I add up 800 lifetimes. Lu Zai glanced at me, revealing his true nature, and said in a teasing tone, Shinting Yao, can you make a draft before you lie? What about the 6 million you took before? Where did it go? 6 million was Mrs. Lu's compensation for me breaking up with him. For years ago, Lu Zai refused a marriage alliance and had a big fight with Mrs. Lu. Not long after, Mrs. Lu approached me, using both soft and hard tactics. I will not agree to you entering the Lu family. If Zai marries you, he won't get a penny of the Lu family's money. Miss Shin, your parents have already passed away. You wouldn't want to see Zai cut off ties with his family because of you, would you? With just a few words, Mrs. Lu touched the deepest pain in my heart. She investigated me thoroughly and used enough money to make me agree to the breakup. Since I accepted the money, it's mine. I straightened my back, speaking with righteous confidence. I've already spent the money. It's useless to ask me for it. Lu Zai chuckled in amusement and anger. Shinting Yao, you graduated from a prestigious university, right? Use the thing on your neck to think. Do you think I'm short of 6 million? Leaving aside everything else, just the watch on Lu Zai's wrist is worth tens of millions. 6 million is no different from 6 yuan to him. My straightened back bent again. I know you're not short of it. Lu Zai crossed his long legs, not bothering with further roundabout talk, and got straight to the point. She should be starting kindergarten this year, right? I want to see her. She naturally referred to Tian. The topic returned to the child, and the knuckles of my fingers gripping the water glass turned white. I don't agree. That child has nothing to do with you. Tian was my daughter, whom I carried for 10 months, went through life and death experiences, and suffered a massive hemorrhage to give birth to. She is my child alone. Lu Zai has money. There are enough women who want to have his children to line up from the coffee shop door to the city of Beijing. He will have children anyway. Hearing this, the last trace of a smile disappeared from Lu Zai's face, and he coldly questioned me. What do you mean, nothing to do with me? Without my contribution, do you think you could have given birth to a child all by yourself? I bit my lip, meeting his gaze filled with suppressed anger. I never said she was your daughter. Don't try to claim her. Lu Zai's brow furrowed with annoyance, and his voice turned cold. If not mine, then whose could she be? Shinting Yao, no one but me is qualified to be your child's father. He was a bit too confident. My palms were sweating, and I stammered in weak protest. Who said you were the only man in my life all these years? You're overthinking things. She's not. Before I could finish speaking, Lu Zai interrupted me with a dark face, roaring my name, Shinting Yao. Bang, my hand jolted violently, and the glass fell to the ground. The cafe fell silent. Lu Zai realized his loss of composure and went to the front desk to say something. The waiter brought a strawberry cake with him. Lu Zai's expression softened a lot, returning to the gentle and refined look he had at the beginning, lowering his posture. Don't say bad things, it will make me unhappy. Suddenly, my heart felt like it was blocked by a wet cotton ball, feeling terribly suffocated. Those words I was trying to deny were stuck in my throat, unable to be spoken. After my parents passed away, Lu Zai was the only one who remembered that I loved to eat strawberry cake. Indeed, although he used to be aloof and annoying, he still had a gentle side to me. Lu Zai pushed the strawberry cake closer to my side. You don't want me to meet Tian. Have you asked Tian if she wants to see me? She does want to. Tian definitely wants to. She has asked me more than once why How next door has a father but she doesn't. Why some parents don't let their children play with her because they know she doesn't have a father. My nose tingled, and I compromised a step as if resigned to my fate. We can meet, but you have to promise me one condition: you can't separate her from me. Okay. The rain was drizzling, flowing down the eaves onto the window glass of the cafe. I didn't bring an umbrella today, but Lu Zai did. From the cafe to the parking lot is across the street. I didn't want to get wet in the rain, and shamelessly asked a question I already knew the answer to. Lu Zai, did you bring an umbrella? Lu Zai, a head taller than me, took the umbrella from the rack, squinting at me as if I were an idiot. Do you think I would let you get wet in the rain? Maybe. After all, this umbrella is quite small, and he doesn't necessarily need to share half of it with me. I lowered my head, paying attention to Lu Zai's pace, adjusting my own steps. His warm palm suddenly touched my shoulder. Cervical spine not good? I shook my head, confused. No. It will be soon. Huh? Look up. Oh. Walking to the open-air parking lot, I immediately saw a black Maybach. Its expensive price is out of place in our remote county. Parking it in a muddy, gravel-filled lot is a waste of such a car. Could it be this one? I have a vague feeling it is. When I met Lu Zai, I was a mess and down on my luck. He also stepped out of a Maybach. It was white, though. My parents passed away during my sophomore year, leaving behind no savings. Fortunately, I could apply for student loans and scholarships. Plus, I found a few part-time jobs and barely managed to survive. I toiled away like a dog until graduation. I finally got my internship salary and bought an electric scooter. On the first day, I crashed into Lu Zai. I really did crash into him. My 2000 yuan electric scooter crashed into Lu Zai's 5 million plus Maybach. I rear-ended him. It was all my fault. The sky fell. I can be hit by a Maybach, but I absolutely can't hit a Maybach. I couldn't afford to pay for it even if I worked like a horse for generations. I fell off the scooter, crying my eyes out, tears and rain mixing together, indistinguishable. Lu Zai saw that I was soaked and handed me his umbrella. With a seemingly warm heart, he spoke the coldest words in the world. Let's add each other on WeChat, so it's easier for me to claim damages. Who knew that one claim would lead to me paying with myself? Lu Zai opened the passenger door. What are you thinking about? Get in the car. I came to my senses and realized that it was raining again today. The rain brings me bad luck. I got into the car, and Lu Zai added before closing the door, don't even think about regretting it, you won't get a chance. I pulled my coat tighter around me, my gaze shifting to the chopped chili fish head restaurant next to the Maybach outside the window. The price difference between the two is naturally huge, there's no comparison. I whispered, Lu Zai, I have never regretted it. It was as if I was saying it to him, and also as if I was saying it to myself. Lu Zai suddenly slammed on the brakes. My pupils dilated, my body leaning forward uncontrollably, my heart beating faster. Damn it! His driving skills are terrible. Lu Zai scanned 3 yuan for the parking attendant, his voice calm and without inflection. On the contrary, Shinting Yao, I deeply regret meeting you. Understood. If that rainy day hadn't brought an accident, I would never have had the chance to come into contact with him in this lifetime. Lu Zai must have done as Madame Lu said long ago, marrying a wife of equal status and getting his life on track. I lowered my eyes, my fingers unconsciously tightening. I dumped you 4 years ago, you must hate me, right? Lu Zai reignited the engine and started driving. A self-deprecating smile hung on his lips as he mocked me, word by word. I could raise a dog that's more loyal than you, at least it would know what it means to be there through thick and thin. Shinting Yao, why shouldn't I hate you? He really does hate me. However, thinking about it from another perspective, it's not bad either. Hate lasts longer than love. Since we can't possibly get married, any more love is superfluous. As the car drove out of the area, Lu Zai took the initiative to ask me at the traffic light intersection, where do you live? Turn left or right? I was taken aback for a second, surprised that he didn't know. Thinking this, I spoke it out, don't you know where I am? I automatically cast him into the role of the domineering CEO from novels. For someone of his status, finding out anything would be a piece of cake, right? Lu Zai took a deep breath and said calmly, I didn't have time to inquire, I only know the general location. I told him the specific address, silently complaining, I thought, finding an address wouldn't be difficult for you. He finally couldn't take it anymore and retorted, I'm a person, not a god. If you weren't here, how would my car possibly end up in this kind of place? He really went through a lot. To catch me, he drove his Maybach all the way here to play in the mud. The city is small, and Lu Zai wasn't driving slowly, so he soon arrived at the residential area where I live. He narrowed his long eyes, surveying the periphery of the community, his tone dismissive, You're letting my daughter live with you in this kind of dump? I led Lu Zai inside, helplessly arguing, It's not a dump, it's considered a pretty good community around here. The kindergarten is just across the street, and the elementary school is opposite. It's a school district property, more or less. It was expensive when I bought it, cost $2 million, it broke my heart. Lu Zai still wasn't satisfied after hearing this. What good schools could there be across from a rundown community like this? How can it compare to Beijing? I heard the words Jing City and stopped in my tracks. With his power and status, I had no chance of winning against him if he tried to take Tian away from me. Ding, the elevator doors opened. Lu Zai turned his head and asked me, Why aren't you going in? Still uneasy, I confirmed with him again and again, You promised me you wouldn't let Tian and I be separated, right? Lu Zai sighed softly, his voice filled with helplessness. When have I ever lied to you? It's always you who lies to me. Thinking about it carefully, that was indeed the case. Skeptical, I followed him into the elevator and pressed the button for the floor to pick up Tian from our neighbor's house. I've been going out on blind dates in the afternoons for the past couple of days. I wasn't comfortable leaving Tian, a child, at home alone, so I asked the neighbor upstairs to take care of her. At the neighbor's door, I instructed Lu Zai, You wait in the stairwell first, I'll go in and get Tian. He said oh and reluctantly headed towards the stairwell. When Tian saw me coming to pick her up, she immediately ran towards me on her little legs, Mommy. I ruffled her little head, thanked the neighbor, and took her hand as we walked to the stairwell. Perhaps I took too long to find the right words. Tian shook my hand and urged, Mommy, aren't we going home? I squatted down to her level, and carefully, tentatively asked, Tian, would you like to have a daddy? She didn't directly answer my question, but tilted her head, looked at me, and pursed her lips, Can Tian have a daddy? My eyes welled up, and I held back the urge to cry as I hugged her tightly. Yes, our Tian has a daddy. Mommy will take you to meet your daddy in a little while, okay? I owe her so much. Because I longed for family, I selfishly gave birth to her. Tian paused for 2 seconds, then curiously pointed behind me, jumping up and down, Mommy. Is that daddy? Is that Tian's daddy? I followed the direction Tian was pointing and choked out, Yes, that's daddy. Without me noticing, Lu Zai had silently appeared. The man who had been talking about wanting to see his daughter all the way here was now frozen in place, too stunned to approach his own daughter. For the first time, I wondered if I was being too cruel to Lu Zai. Come over here and carry the child downstairs, what are you standing there like an idiot for? Huh? Oh. Okay. Lu Zai awkwardly picked up Tian and softly, gently introduced himself. Tian laughed and clapped in his arms, Mom is so amazing. She conjured up such a big daddy. I turned my head away, rubbed my slightly red eyes, and led the father and daughter back to my home. The sofa was covered with countless stuffed animals, leaving little room to sit. Lu Zai, a tall man of 1.8 meters, looked a bit comical sitting in the middle. He didn't mind, hugging Tian and squeezing into the pile of dolls. Does Tian like dolls? Yes. How about Daddy buys Tian a whole room full of dolls in the future? Yay. The scene before me was like a dream. I walked to the balcony alone, leaving the space to the father and daughter. Why didn't Daddy ever show up before? Because Daddy was too busy with work. Aw. Is Daddy a ghost now? Daddy is not a ghost, he has warmth just like Tian Tian. But they all say that if you work too slowly, you will die from exhaustion. The cold wind brushed against my cheeks, blowing away a tear that slipped from the corner of my eye. The noise in the living room stopped, and Lu Zai came to the balcony to find me. I concealed my emotions, avoiding his gaze. Why did you come over? Where's Tian Tian? Lu Zai walked next to me, whispering softly. Tian Tian fell asleep on the sofa. Okay. This time is exactly Tian Tian's usual nap time. The air froze for a few seconds, and neither of us spoke to break the stalemate. I picked at my nails, my thoughts drifting away. I remembered that 4 years ago, Lu Zai and I always had endless things to talk about, and we would never get tired of each other. Now we have become the most familiar strangers. After a few minutes, Lu Zai spoke first. Ting Yao, let's talk. I brushed the wind-blown hair behind my ear. If we're talking about child support, I'm happy to. Being able to fight for more assets for Tian Tian is like giving Tian Tian more security. Lu Zai's expression faded, forgetting the promises he had made to me earlier. It's not just about child support, I want to talk to you about the issue of custody. Custody? In his dreams. My attitude was firm and resolute, and even that trace of compassion I had felt earlier disappeared. The issue of custody is non-negotiable. The educational resources here are not good. Jing City has many good schools. Ting Yao, you need to think about Tian Tian's future. Lu Zai went back on his word, cunningly dragging in the issue of educational resources. The education here really is too backward compared to Jing City. If he forcibly takes Tian Tian away, or wants to sue me, I definitely won't be able to stop him, let alone win the lawsuit. Realizing this fact, I felt helpless and powerless, my eyes filled with tears as I pleaded with him. Lu Zai. You will have other children in the future. Don't take her away from me, you promised me. Lu Zai frowned and turned his head away, his jawline tense, the whole person appearing indifferent and distant. What I promised you was not to separate you, so. He paused, adding, Shen Ting Yao, you must live with the child. What does he mean? Separately, I can understand each sentence, but together, I can't comprehend it at all. I looked up suspiciously, the tear clinging to my eyelashes trembling slightly. I don't understand what you mean. Is he trying to take the child from me, or not? Lu Zai rubbed his temples, explaining to me word by word. Tian Tian can't live without her mother, she will hate me. So, I will use all the resources at my disposal to force you to come back to Jing City with me. Shen Ting Yao, don't even think about staying here and enjoying yourself. He wants to take me with him? I resisted, taking 2 steps back, finding all sorts of awkward excuses, stammering, I have to work. Tian Tian is used to living here, she likes her friends here. Lu Zai stared at me with a serious gaze, issuing his final ultimatum. The matchmaker told me you already quit your job last month. If you don't come back with me, I'll have no choice but to leave Tian Tian with my mother. You have no choice, understand? Lu Zai is deliberately threatening me. He clearly knows that Madame Lu had said long ago that apart from the fiancé she chose for Lu Zai, the Lu family wouldn't recognize anyone else, including the child. In this situation, there is no way Madame Lu would be good to Tian Tian. I stared at Lu Zai in disbelief, squeezing out a sentence through clenched teeth. Fine, I'll go back to Jing City with you. Buzzing, my phone in the living room rang. Someone was calling me. Tian Tian's crying and the phone's ringtone came at the same time. I hurried to the living room, Lu Zai following closely behind. I initially wanted to go and comfort Tian Tian first, but when I caught a glimpse of the number on the phone screen, I changed my mind. Lu Zai, coax her. Okay. I hid in the room and pressed the answer button. A clear, gentle voice of a middle-aged woman rang in my ear. Miss Shen, long time no see. Madame Lu. Creak, the door was pushed open. Lu Zai walked up to me, snatched my phone, and hung up the phone with a neat movement, throwing me and the child in the living room and running inside to answer her call. Shen Ting Yao, you're really something. You're really fucking something. I was just about to explain to him. Without thinking, Lu Zai threw my phone into the trash can. I ran over to pick it up, feeling distressed, and said angrily, "Lu Zai." He shrugged indifferently and clicked his tongue. "What?" "I just threw away a phone. It's better than you throwing the child and me in the living room. I'm worth 6 million, how much is a phone worth?" Luckily, the screen wasn't broken. I picked the phone out of the trash can and wiped it clean. I wanted to go see Tian, but Lu Zai stopped me. "How much money is she planning to give you this time?" I brushed away his hand blocking the way, but Lu Zai simply grabbed my wrist. "Shinting Yao, are you going to tell me or not?" We didn't talk about money. To be precise, Madame Lu and I didn't even have the chance to say a second sentence. There wasn't even a chance to talk. Lu Zai didn't believe me and speculated on his own. 10 million? Or 20 million? Fuck, could it be 8 million? I've only increased my value this much in the past 4 years. I rolled my eyes and didn't have the heart to tell him that Madame Lu was only willing to spend 1 million at the beginning. It was my hesitation that led to the high price of 6 million. "Let go quickly, Tian is outside, she will be anxious if she can't find me." "She won't, I told her we're playing hide and seek and she has to count to 200 before looking." "He's sick. Tian is good if she can count to 50. How long will it take to count to 200? She can't count that high at all." I tried to pry open his fingers, but Lu Zai tightened his grip even more. "How much is it exactly?" "Anything less than 50 million is a loss, you understand? My mom is just stingy, not broke. Learn some negotiating skills, you might be able to get 80 million. Is Lu Zai teaching me how to sell him for a higher price?" I couldn't pry it open, so I stopped struggling and complained, "Why didn't you teach me earlier? Now there's no chance." Lu Zai released my hand, took the phone out of my pocket, and unlocked it. "What do you mean there's no chance? Watch me operate." He started one-on-one teaching, and I was dumbfounded. Lu Zai found Madame Lu's phone number, his long fingers tapping on the phone screen, and edited a message to send. "Sorry, there was a slight accident just now." After waiting for a minute, Madame Lu replied, "I can understand. I heard that you had a daughter behind Zai's back, is that true?" When it came to Tian, my heart leaped to my throat. Lu Zai poked my forehead with his fingertip, "And you call yourself capable?" He waited a few seconds and continued the demonstration with an unchanged expression. "Yes. Zai has already set off to find you. I hope you can take the child abroad and never come back. I can give you 15 million. When he saw the number appear, Lu Zai raised his eyebrows and said with emotion, "How stingy, I'm her own son, how can she only give so little? Who is she looking down on?" Lu Zai pointed to the message Madame Lu sent and emphasized, 15 million is definitely not enough to spend abroad, do you understand? I nodded woodenly, my mind in a mess. Is he really Madame Lu's biological son? Any watch of Lu Zai's is more expensive than 15 million, right? Madame Lu, you don't want to lose your only son, do you? The mother and son haggled back and forth. 5 minutes later. Lu Zai proudly returned my phone to me. 80 million is easy, and I even signed an electronic contract, so she can't even get it back. Why didn't you teach me this skill 4 years ago? I counted the balance in the card, my brain crashing, and asked Lu Zai worriedly, "Then, what if she gets angry and retaliates against me and Tian? Lu Zai is her biological son, even a tiger doesn't eat its cubs. Madame Lu would definitely be reluctant to hurt him, but I and Tian are completely different." Lu Zai pinched the flesh on my cheek and teased me, "Shinting Yao, pregnancy makes you stupid for 3 years, how come you're 1 year dumber than others?" Tian is my daughter, you are the mother of my child, how could I let anything happen to you? If she really comes looking for you, tell her to download the anti-fraud app. Lu Zai took me and Tian back to Beijing. Tian had never been far from home since she was little, and she was curious about everything she saw when she first arrived. Especially when she arrived at our home in Beijing, she excitedly ran around the living room several times. "Mommy, the new house is so big." I looked around. This house was the one Lu Zai and I lived in 4 years ago. Many of the items remained the same, unchanged, only Lu Zai and I had changed. Tian Tian sat on the carpet and suddenly remembered something, saying something shocking. Where will Tian Tian sleep if mommy and daddy sleep together at night? I cringed, thinking of some inappropriate scenes, my ears burning. Tian Tian will sleep with mommy, and daddy will sleep by himself. In a child's mind, mommy and daddy should sleep together. Tian Tian pressed me. Why does daddy have to sleep by himself? The 3 little pigs all sleep together. I couldn't find a reason, and cast a look for help at Lu Zai. He deliberately teased me, repeating Tian Tian's question, yeah, why does daddy have to sleep by himself? My face was so red that it was dripping blood, and my toes curled into the carpet. Lu Zai still wouldn't let me go, trying his best to make trouble. Tian Tian, why doesn't mommy want to sleep with daddy? Isn't it strange? What's so strange? Lu Zai is the strangest person here today. Tian Tian doesn't know about our relationship. Why is he, as the person involved, joining in the fun? What's with exes sleeping together after breaking up? Is that appropriate? Mommy, why don't you sleep with daddy? Tian Tian, is it wrong for other people's mommies and daddies to sleep together? Yes. Yes. I was exasperated and dragged Lu Zai into the study by his clothes. Lu Zai, come with me. I made sure to close the door so that Tian Tian wouldn't hear us arguing. He started playing dumb at this moment. What's the matter? Even Tian Tian can't hear? I clenched my fists, ready to settle the score with him. Why did you say such nonsense to Tian Tian? What did I say? Try pretending again. I was really angry. My fists tightened, ready to knock him down with one punch. Lu Zai leaned closer to me, his voice rising at the end. Are you talking about sleeping? He's shameless, he doesn't even blush when he says those 2 words so bluntly. I pulled away from Lu Zai, landing a punch on his chest. Be serious. If you keep acting like this, I'm afraid I'll overthink things. He showed up buying strawberry cake, then held an umbrella for me, and even helped me get my money back. It's like the person who said they hated me and regretted meeting me in the parking lot wasn't him. I almost thought he still had feelings for me. Lu Zai grabbed the hand I used to hit him, his thumb caressing the back of my hand. Did you hit so hard? Does it hurt? The skin he touched felt like it was burning. I pulled my hand back as if electrocuted, seriously warning him, keep some distance between us, or I really will overthink things. I'm just afraid you're not thinking enough. Huh? Are he and I talking about the same thing? Am I being too narcissistic? Lu Zai held my waist and hugged me. It's what you're thinking, don't doubt it. His clothes had a faint woody scent that filled my nostrils, and I could clearly feel my panic. He buried his head in my shoulder and rubbed affectionately, hugging me tighter. Shinting Yao, I've missed you so much. I hugged him back, tears dripping onto Lu Zai's clothes. Damn tearful constitution. Lu Zai gently stroked my hair, his voice full of deep weariness and grievance. Why are you crying? Don't you miss me? I thought you hated me. And would never love me again. Lu Zai bit my neck. Does hating you mean I can't love you? The real pain came, it wasn't a dream. I thought that by accepting the 6 million from Madame Lu, I had completely lost the right to be loved by him. He's so silly. Why does he love me? I'm a bad woman. Tears blurred my vision. Lu Zai. Does it hurt? No, it doesn't. Lu Zai bit that spot again, leaving a shallow tooth mark, causing me to gasp. It hurts. Is he a dog? Lu Zai's warm breath tickled my ear. Only pain makes you remember. Don't you ever sell me for 6 million again. I thought about the 80 million he helped me deceive Madame Lu with, and on a whim, I said to him, can I sell you for 80 million? Lu Zai's hand around my waist loosened, his face cold, his eyes filled with resentment. Crap, I've made him angry. I tugged at his sleeve. I was kidding. Can't my value increase a little more? Okay, I get it. The source of his anger was actually that I sold him too cheaply. The large study was dimly lit. Everything around us seemed to blur. Only each other in front of us felt real. The desire in Lu Zai's eyes was almost overflowing. He gently pressed his thumb against my chin, wanting to kiss me. Mommy! Mommy! Tian pounded on the door, breaking the ambiguous atmosphere. I awkwardly swept my hair back. I'll go check on Tian first. Lu Zai blocked the door with one hand, asking me annoyedly, "Can I sleep with you tonight?" In the current situation, my opinion probably doesn't matter anymore. Knowing Lu Zai as I do, he's definitely getting into bed tonight. A week later, we ran into Madame Lu. We left in a hurry, and didn't have time to bring many things. Tian was fussing about her stuffed rabbit, crying and saying she wanted to go home because she couldn't find it. Bunny. Mommy, I want to go home. Back to our old home. While Lu Zai naturally refused. He had finally brought us back, mother and daughter, and he was always a little anxious about losing us again. What kind of rabbit? Daddy will buy you 100. 100? Is he crazy? The two of them, one big and one small, were full of energy, pulling me to drive to the mall. I thought about 100 stuffed rabbits appearing in my house soon, and my head started to ache. Do you really have to buy 100? Lu Zai glanced at Tian in her car seat through the rearview mirror. We have to do what we promised her. 100 isn't too many. I kept hypnotizing myself. 100 rabbits isn't too many. 100 rabbits isn't too many. 2 seconds passed. That's way too many. Forget it, let them buy whatever they want. Bang! The car body shook twice, and Lu Zai braked to a stop. I was still in shock. Did we hit someone? Lu Zai unfastened his seatbelt, patted my hand, and smiled. No, we got rear-ended. Huh? And the person who hit our car happened to be Madame Lu. 2 luxury cars were parked one behind the other on the side of the road. Madame Lu got out of the car with a livid face, her quietness carrying a feeling of impending storm. I held Tian and didn't dare to step forward. Like father, like son. Lu Zai, oblivious to the danger, was smiling as he went up to provoke her. Mom, what's wrong with your driver? He's dented the rear of my car. Madame Lu ignored the size of the dent, glaring at her rebellious son, furious. You can still laugh? Do you know this woman? She took 80 million from you, right? You know? You unfilial son. If it makes you happy, scold me more. Anyway, Ting Yao and I have already registered our marriage. Get out! Get out of my sight! The mother and son confronted each other for a while. After learning the truth, Madame Lu beat her chest and stamped her feet in regret, almost fainting with anger. Tian, thinking about her 100 rabbits, ran over to Lu Zai and acted cute. Daddy, buy rabbits, buy rabbit dolls. Lu Zai picked up Tian and took her to Madame Lu, shamelessly saying, Grandma is a super rich woman, let Grandma buy you 100. How dare he? He really wasn't afraid of making Madame Lu faint from anger. But strangely, when Madame Lu saw Tian, her expression immediately changed. 100 rabbits. Raise them at home? We'd have to buy a piece of land first, wouldn't we? Too smelly. How about Grandma gives you a farm? Afterward, Lu Zai quietly told me that Madame Lu had a sharp tongue but a soft heart. Her ruthlessness was entirely reserved for the business world. She could never be harsh with children. After a while, we'll take Tian to apologize. She won't hold it against us too much. As Lu Zai said, Madame Lu was indeed a soft-hearted person. Before going to bed that night, she called me. Tomorrow, bring Tian and that rebellious son of mine over for a meal. I held down Lu Zai's restless hands, and said respectfully, Okay, Auntie, I'll go over with them tomorrow. Auntie? Aren't you registered? Change your address. Lu Zai was close to me and heard everything on the phone. He shouted into the phone, Mom, don't be stingy, give the bride price first. Madame Lu was silent for 2 seconds, cursed ungrateful son and hung up the phone. Then, my card received a huge bride price from Madame Lu. Lu Zai kissed my ear, trying to please me. See, my mom is so generous. How are you going to thank me today?